Hear me out though. The Navi are kinda. So I just came back from watching Avatar Book 3 Fire, and it was a really weird theater experience. Just a little anecdote, but when I went to go buy my ticket for the movie, the theater worker was surprisingly rude. She was like, "What do you want to watch?" I was like, "Dang, bro, I just got here. What the freak?" And I wouldn't imagine, again, also families be watching this movie. Like, I didn't think Avatar 3 would be a family movie, but there were a bunch of families in my theater, so I don't know why parents thought it would be a good idea for their children to watch an over 3 hour movie, because, children, don't do well with sitting down for a prolonged period of time. So even before the previews began, a bunch of children in the front of the theater were just screaming the word pumpkin over and over again. And luckily, they didn't do that when the movie started. Thank God. But near the end of the movie, there were a couple phones coming out from the front. Let's just get back to the topic at hand. I really enjoy the Avatar series. Not really much the first one. I think the first one's, slightly decent, above average. Good movie, but I really enjoy the second one, and I enjoy the third one even more. I think the Avatar movies only get better as time goes on, and I'm really hoping that trend continues with Avatar 4 and 5, if we even get there, because James Cameron be promising a bunch of stuff, but he don't really pull them off in time. This movie in particular is an absolute spectacle. The visual effects and the cinematography of Avatar are done really well, to the point where I think every shot is like a work of art. Like, I would make most of the shots in Avatar a wallpaper, and that's a really high compliment. That's the best compliment I could give. Although the use of CGI do make it feel like a video game sometimes, but like a really well rendered video game. So, not like a crappy PS2 one. I was also impressed with how the VFX didn't impede on any performance in the movie. I could see the little expressions in their faces even with the copious amounts of CGI and VFX on them. And I don't have much to say about the performances in general. Like, they're all good. They're all really good. I just don't know what else to say. I think the newly introduced antagonist is fantastic. The actress does a really good job at portraying this sadistic and quite literally a menace to society of a character. It also makes it even more impressive when she's able to portray the same character in a more vulnerable state. And I think the character writing in this movie is a lot stronger than the previous ones, especially when it comes to the characters' relationships. I just want to touch on Quaritch for a bit. I think he gets some really good character development, and I think he's a really good character with a really good character arc in this movie. When he's paired up with the new antagonist, they're pretty dangerous yet entertaining as a pair. And then the family aspect of this movie is the main conflict, other than the humans and the anywho. There are so many issues happening within the Sully family. Each member of the family has an internal conflict going on, and the movie does a really good job at expressing how they feel about it externally. They each take different actions to process their internal conflict, and the difference in actions causes the family to slowly drift apart. I'm really trying to not spoil the second movie and the third movie at the same time while saying this, but what I'm trying to say is there's really good character tension, and along with the character tension, there's other types of tension in this movie that just make it even more stressful. Characters in this movie have to make some really tough decisions. Like, there's one in the movie where I was like, are they really gonna do this? Like, this could be crazy if they're gonna do this. It's a Disney movie. I don't know if they're gonna do this. And I think James Cameron has a lot of freedom here, especially when it comes to these contentious plot points. He also has a lot of freedom when it comes to writing the entire culture of the Na'vi. Like, the first part of Avatar, Wave of Water, feels like a documentary. And for the first half of the movie, you spend a lot of time with the new tribe and experiencing their ways and how it's different from the ways that you've known in the first movie. This one does it a bit different. It's not that slow. This movie is straight gas for about all of it. You get to experience this newly introduced fire tribe within the action scenes. It's another reason why I like this movie more than the previous two, because it doesn't feel like I'm watching a documentary. But don't get me wrong, I liked learning about the water tribe in the previous movie, but I would rather watch the fire tribe just do some devious war crimes in this one, because these fire Na'vi, they're freaking crazy. It's also the reason why these movies are so long, because James Cameron needs enough time to build the world of Avatar. However, there's one issue that I have with this movie. The ending of the movie kind of just feels like the ending of the second movie. I was watching it and I was like, I think I've already seen this before. It's not the biggest issue again. I really like the ending of the second one, but I don't know. I don't know, James Cameron. You gotta do something else than big action at the end. It just kind of takes away from the impact when you feel like you've already seen this type of movie before. Also, there's this marine biologist dude who just kind of just shows up and then he leaves after helping out the main characters. I hope they do something with his character. I thought it was kind of, you know, rebellious and interesting. I hope he just wasn't, you know, a throwaway character that just helps out the main character. Overall, Avatar Fire and Ash is better than Avatar Way of Water and Avatar. And if I were to rate them, Avatar is a 7 out of 10 and Way of Water is an 8 out of 10. And I will give Avatar Fire and Ash a 9 out of 10.